physical changes that we have discussed already. So today again some more discussions we will continue about the physical changes, and then I will also tell you about the chemical changes. Okay, so these all topics already we have discussed little bit. Again in some more details today we will discuss. So first we will discuss about the physical changes, and there at first we will discuss about the evaporation. Okay, evaporation is a very familiar word to you. That is change of state from liquid to gaseous state. Boiling is also the same term, change of state from liquid to gas. But do you know what is the difference between evaporation and boiling? See, evaporation and boiling both are related terms, but they are not equal. Evaporation is the change of liquid to gaseous state or liquid to vapor below its boiling point. But boiling is the change of liquid to gaseous state at the boiling point. Okay, so at first we will discuss about evaporation, then we will come to boiling. So as I said, evaporation is the change of liquid to gas or liquid to vapor below its boiling point. What is the boiling point of water? 100 degrees Celsius. Okay, so whenever a liquid changes to gaseous state below its boiling point, we call it as evaporation. And if we will talk about the type, it is desirable, reversible and endothermic. What is desirable? Evaporation not hampers, it will not hamper. Okay, that's why it is desirable. Reversible means it can be reversed back. The liquid that converts into gaseous state or the vapor state can be returned back again as a liquid state, that we have discussed already. And what is endothermic? Means it will absorb heat. Okay, simply when liquid will convert to gas, it will absorb the heat. Neither it will release the heat. Okay, it will absorb the heat, then only the liquid will convert to the gaseous state. Here we can take the example for evaporation is evaporation of water from river. Okay, any surface water that will evaporate. Okay, the evaporation generally takes a natural process. Okay, evaporation is a process where liquids converge to its vapor form below its boiling point. Okay, so that is called evaporation. And here we can take a simple example, evaporation of water from any surface water like a river, pond, any surface water we can take as a mode of evaporation. Okay, so if we will talk about some factors that will affect evaporation, there are also some factors that will affect the rate of evaporation. Means some factors will increase the rate of evaporation, some factors will decrease the rate of evaporation. Let's talk about that in detail. So at first, let's talk about the temperature. What do you think? With the increase in temperature, evaporation will increase or not? Yes. With the increase in temperature, the rate of evaporation will increase. That's why the wet cloths will dry earlier or more easily in summers during the winters or rainy season. Because in summers, the atmospheric temperature is high. That's why the rate of evaporation is high. Again, you can take the example of pond. During summers, the water of the pond get dried easily as compared to winters and rainy season. Because more is the temperature, it will enhance the rate of evaporation. So, with the increase in rate of temperature, the rate of evaporation will increase. Next, talk about the moisture or humidity. Humidity means the water content of the atmosphere. Okay, whenever we are talking about the environment is today humid. Okay, this is the water content or the moisture content of the atmosphere. If you go to more, to the Puri or Brahmpur side, there you can find more moisture in the atmosphere. It will give a sticky, feeling to our skin. So that is the moisture and humidity. So what is the effect of the moisture and humidity to evaporation? If the moisture content or the water content is more in the atmosphere, it will restrict the rate of evaporation. Means more is the humidity, less will be the evaporation. Okay, so why? Because the water vapor present in the atmosphere will restrict the temperature to evaporate the surface water. Okay, the atmosphere present already in the atmosphere, it will restrict the sunlight, it will restrict the rate of evaporation in summers is more. Okay, next. Or we can talk about the beach areas. Okay, if you will talk, as I said, the example of Puri or Gopalpur, anywhere you can take the example. You can find in beach areas there are more water content in the atmosphere. There the rate of evaporation is little bit less. Okay, than the dry condition. Next, surface area. What is surface area? Exposed area. More is the surface area, more is the rate of evaporation. Okay. We can take an example of transpiration. Transpiration is also a mode or tendency of evaporation. Do you know or not? Transpiration means the loss of water from the aerial parts of the plant. So we can also take that as a term of evaporation. So we can take the example of leaves. Leaves that are broad or that have more surface area will wilt easily in summers. That's why the desert plants like aloe vera, cactus, opuntia, that kind of plant, they will have the narrow leaves. If you can see, the desert plants have narrow leaves. Okay, why? Because they will reduce their surface area. If the surface area of the leaf will be more, there will be more evaporation or more transpiration from the leaf. If they will narrow their leaf, or if they have the narrowing leaf, then the rate of evaporation will be less. Why? Because the surface area that are exposed to the sunlight is less. Another very simple example I can tell you. Whenever we are drying our clothes, so what we are doing? We are generally expanding that. Okay, not that we are only squeezing the water and we are just putting over that. No, we have to what? We have to open that. Okay, whenever you can see, whenever we are drying our clothes, we are just spreading that cloth. Why? Because we are increasing the surface area of the cloth. Okay, the more we will increase the surface area of the cloth, the more rapidly it will get dry. Okay, if you will squeeze your cloth and just like that, if you will put to get it dry, will it dry? No, the inside content, the inside part of the cloth will remain wet only. So that is the example of surface area. Means what we can say? More is the surface area, more is the rate of evaporation. Less is the surface area, less is the rate of evaporation. Movement of air. Movement of air also plays an important role in evaporation. See, higher the movement of air, higher is the rate of evaporation. For example, I can tell you, if suppose this is a surface water, suppose this is a pond or any river, any surface water. If the speed of wind is more, or if the wind is blowing in a high speed, then the wind will pass very nearer to the surface of water, and that's why this blowing wind will take away the water content very easily. Okay, if the wind is not blowing, means the wind is blowing in this direction, like this. If the wind is blowing in faster rate, means it is moving very closer to the surface and drawing out the particles, drawing out the liquid particle in the form of vapor. That's why more is the blow of wind, higher is the rate of evaporation. That's why it is restricted during the afternoon of summer days to go outside. Okay, because if you will go during summers, if during afternoon if you will go outside, then what happened? The hot wind will blow your water content of your body. That's why we feel more tired during summers when we come from outside. Okay, the water content, we will lose more water. That's why we should drink more and more water during summers. Okay, so this is all about some of the factors that affects the rate of evaporation. Okay, I think you all are clear about evaporation. What is evaporation? What are the factors that affects evaporation? Okay, next come to boiling. Boiling is also a kind of physical change. Okay, again I am reminding you what is physical change. Means there will be no change in their chemical structure. Here we are talking about the change from liquid state to gaseous state. Means in liquid state also the formula is H2O. In gaseous state also the formula is H2O. Only it is changing its state, not the chemical composition. Okay, that's why it is under physical changes. Now the next physical change is boiling. As I said, there is a difference between evaporation and boiling. Boiling is also the change from liquid state to gaseous state, but at the boiling temperature. The simple example is when we are putting a pan of water over the gas. Okay, when that water will reach its boiling point, that is 200 degrees Celsius, it will start vaporizing. Okay, or it will start forming into gaseous state. That is boiling. Boiling is the conversion of liquid state to gaseous state at its boiling temperature. Okay, or at its boiling point. So we can see here boiling is desirable, reversible, and endothermic. See, these desirable and undesirable here that I have written, that depends upon your want. Means if you want the water to boil, that is desirable for you. If you don't want, that is undesirable for you. So desirable and undesirable thing that can change, okay, from time to time. But these things are constant, reversible and endothermic. Boiling is reversible, means again we can convert that gas into liquid, back into liquid. Okay, we will talk about that. And it is also endothermic. Endothermic means when we are putting the pan of water over gas, means the pan is absorbing water. That's why it is converting the liquid inside the water into gas. It is not releasing water. What it is doing? It is absorbing water. Okay, that's why it is endothermic. Next is condensation. Condensation is also a kind of physical change. What is condensation? Just remind. In the last class only we have discussed. Condensation means the change of state from gaseous state to liquid state. Okay, that we call it as condensation. Condensation is the conversion of gases to liquid. Okay, so this is condensation. Condensation is desirable, reversible, and exothermic. A very simple example of condensation I can give you. The same you have when we are keeping a pan of water over the gas and it starts boiling. Then what do? You just cover that pan with a lid. Okay? Then you can find after sometimes when you will take out the lid, you can find there are small droplets over that lid. It is a very simple example you can do. Okay? Just put a pan of water over a gas. Let it go for some time and it will start evaporating, forming into vapor, because it will reach into its boiling point. That we call it as boiling. After it will convert into vapor, you just put a lid over the pan, and after sometimes when you will take out the lid, you can see drops of water over that lid. What is that? That is the vapor that will condense into liquid again. Okay, so here condensation is desirable. Sometimes it may be undesirable depending upon our want. It is reversible, means it can be reversed back into its original state. And it is exothermic. Exothermic means it will release water. Remember, whenever liquid changes to gases, it will absorb it. Whenever gases will return to liquid, it will release it. Already we have discussed, okay, in the change in state, interconversion of state, already we have discussed. When liquid changes to gases, it will absorb it. When gases change to liquid, it will release it. Okay, so that's why it is exothermic, because it will release it. Or else a simple example also you can take. After cooking, when your mother will cover the curry or the cooked food with a lid, and when after sometimes when you will take out the lid, you can find water droplets over there. Okay, that is the vapor that will condense into liquid form. Okay, so this is condensation. Next, let's talk about freezing. It's that simple. What is freezing? Freezing is the conversion of liquid state to solid state. We can take an example, water to ice. Okay, it is of course desirable. Reversible means again we can convert ice to water, and it is exothermic. Exothermic means when water converts to solid, it will release it then only it can convert into ice. But when ice will melt, it will gain heat. We can call it melting. Okay, the simple example I am telling, just keep it in mind. When ice is melting, it is gaining the heat from the atmosphere, that's why it is melting. But when liquid is converting to ice, it is releasing its heat, that's why it is getting cold and it will convert into ice. Okay, so freezing is exothermic, means it will release some amount of heat to the atmosphere. Melting, the same I said, conversion of ice to liquid. Melting is undesirable, here it is written, because here we can take some undesirable melting, like melting of ice cream. It is of course very undesirable thing for you, because you want to take the ice cream but it get melted. Okay, anyhow some of us likes melted ice cream also. I like melted ice cream very much. So this is called melting. Sometimes it is undesirable depending upon the want, and sometimes it is desirable as you want. And reversible. Reversible means it can be reversed back. Melting means ice to liquid. So again it can be reversed back. We can call that reversal as freezing. And endothermic. Endothermic means it will gain heat. Okay. When you will keep ice cream outside the refrigerator, it will melt. Why? Because inside the refrigerator it is in cold condition. But when we will take it out, means it will gain heat from the atmosphere and it will melt. That's why it is endothermic. Next, sublimation. What is sublimation? Just remind. Sublimation is the conversion of liquid state to gaseous state. Solid state to gaseous state. Sublimation is the conversion of solid state to gaseous state. Okay, solid to gas. Okay, it is the conversion of solid to gas. So already we have discussed about sublimation. So if we will talk about the change, sublimation is desirable. It is also reversible, means gas can also be converted back into solid. What we call it as? We call it as deposition, if you remember. And it is endothermic. Endothermic means it will absorb it. When solid will absorb heat from the surrounding, it will convert into what? Gaseous state. We can take a small example of naphthalene ball. Generally we are using naphthalene ball for keeping to keep inside our clothes. Okay, or sometimes we will keep it in the basins and all. Okay, so these naphthalene balls, they can convert, they are in their solid form, but they can convert into their gaseous state when they will absorb the atmospheric temperature. In general language, we call it as kapoor or karpoor. Okay, that is the naphthalene ball. So naphthalene ball undergoes sublimation in general room temperature, because it will absorb. That's why it is endothermic. It will absorb the surrounding heat and it will convert from its solid state into the gaseous state. Okay, this is sublimation. So in your book one experiment is given about sublimation. Don't worry, at last I will tell you about that experiment. I will show you that experiment. Dissolving. The last one is dissolving. What is dissolving? Dissolving is when we will take solid, liquid and gas in equal proportion, and that solid, liquid and gas, if they will dissolve in some other substance, then we call that term as dissolving. Okay, solid, liquid and gas in equal proportion, when they will dissolve, okay, or when they will mix, we call it as dissolving. Here we can take an example, one small example we can take, dissolving of liquid and solid. Here I am giving one example, dissolving of liquid and solid. We can take a very simple example here, the seawater. I think you have heard the term desalination. We have done in class 6. What is desalination? Desalination means getting salt from the seawater. Okay. So what is the process of desalination? In the desalination process, they will allow the water, they will allow the seawater over sunlight, or they will allow the seawater over temperature. So what will happen? Suppose this is the water. got dissolved salt particle in it. So that's why here we have taken liquid and solid. Here it is the liquid and the dissolved salt particles are the solids. So what happened when they are exposed to temperature? All the solvents, all the liquid, what they will do? They will evaporate. Okay, because it is the tendency of evaporation. Evaporation is the general tendency when liquid will expose to heat, it will convert to its gaseous form. So here this water is exposed to sunlight and now it is converting into vapor form. Okay, leaving behind what? Leaving behind the salts. Okay, so now we can get only salts over here. This is the process we call it as desalination. Okay, so this is just one example I have given. So whenever we got a solution in dissolving process, always we get a solution. Okay, so whenever we will get a solution of liquid and solid, and if we will allow temperature to that, the liquid or the solvent particle will evaporate, leaving behind the solute particle. And we can get the dry solid. Okay, we can also try it with the sugar water. If you will mix the sugar water and it will allow it in heat, then the water particle will evaporate, leaving behind the sugar particle. Okay, so this is all about the physical changes that all we have discussed. It is a very familiar topic to you. Do not get confused in endothermic. Students generally they got confused in this endothermic or exothermic, That's why while I was teaching you the interconversion of state, that time only clearly I have mentioned about the absorption of heat or releasing of heat. Okay, so here just these things are very important. You just remember. Okay, where it is endothermic, where it is exothermic. So this is all about the physical change. The next topic we will discuss about the chemical change. And now I will show you a practical related to sublimation. Just watch it, and if you need doubt, then you can ask me in the query. You can ask me in the comment section, or you can ask me in the our next discussion session also. So next topic, that is the chemical changes, we will discuss in our next.
So students, here we can see the process of sublimation. In this process, we will separate a mixture of sand and ammonium chloride. We have added the mixture of sand and ammonium chloride in a china dish and covered with a funnel. The mouth of the funnel will be covered with a cotton plug. When it is heated gently, you can observe the ammonium chloride, it converts into gaseous form or vapor form, which is known as sublimation, which is the direct conversion of solid form to the gaseous form. After some times, we can take out the funnel and we can take out the sublimated ammonium chloride into a dish, so that a mixture of ammonium chloride and sand can be separated by the method of sublimation.